From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over the three clusters of checks passed, and this will pay viewers of this channel about $15,000. Incredible sums of money, plus the big surprise that no one saw coming with an additional $25,000 now proposed to be added in there for you. This is a big shocker that no one saw coming. Meantime, those IRS stimulus checks being pushed to go in there as well. Cluster number one, hazard pay, and number two, home repairs, money for you across the board. How do you get this money? Number three, seniors money. I'm going to show you how to get this money because this is what I do on this channel. Then all the items are staying in. No thing is getting reduced, so say the Democrats, but will that be happening? In tonight's recording, we go over all the incredible details as more money is now being pushed to be added in there while some people are trying to push some money out. Which one is it? I have the latest details. Meantime, we turn to student loan debt forgiveness. More debt is now being forgiven this week. Then we turn to the big surprise as an additional sums of money is coming out from third stimulus. Viewers are going into the weekend with big sums of money. I hope that viewer is you. And then we have a breaking, developing details about your benefits and COLA. As COLA's been announced, and guess what? That COLA amount is just about where we thought inflation was going to go. Wow, it's a big night and the excitement is brewing. I'm excited for you. Let's get to it, and it starts right now on Evenings LA. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the globe. It is gorgeous here in Southern California, but been a little bit on the cool side. Your first stimulus check got a huge shocker as an addition of $25,000 in there going in there as well. Whoa, where did that happen? In this recording, we'll go over each of the clusters of checks in this recon that'll pay viewers this channel about $15,000, mostly application-based. I love that word because it means you're going to pounce as a Purple Hawk, not automatic, but application-based. Then all the items still going in, and now a push to add in $25,000 more. That's also application-based. Wow, what a night it is. Then a push underway to put those IRS stimulus checks in there as well. Student loan debt forgiveness now heating up with more debt now being forgiven. And then COLA getting a new lift for your benefits. Wow, it's a big night, and the excitement starts right here, and it starts right now. And this is LALATE, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. This is America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, getting people fortunes of money, upwards of $35 to $45 million have been gotten by viewers of this channel, and today is your day to get that money as well. Stay to the final 15 minutes of this video. I have a lot of money to get you. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to that $3.5 trillion recon passed in a subcommittee of the House no less than 2 weeks ago. It will pay viewers of this channel about $15,000, mostly application-based, because this is what we do on this channel. We pounce as Purple Hawks and get that money, get that pen and paper ready, get ready to take some notes, but don't worry, because I'm going to get you every penny when it becomes law. Cluster number one, hazard pay, and $4,000 of child care. Let's go right into that first cluster. This is huge. They made the earned income tax credit now a lifetime. And this is big. Broaden the eligibility, increase the amount of money so that those essential workers get more money. Then up to $4,000 a year for elder care, up to $4,000 a year for care for young children. Then they got money in there for college students, grants directly to them and also the university, and the Pals Grant made tax-free. $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks got in there with the CTC, the child tax credit. Broaden the eligibility and increasing the amount of money. How much is this? $300 a month, every month approximately, for 18 years if that household remains low income. That's $51,000 a child. Then they got more money in there as well. What is it? Well, it is money for a bike, a car, and a truck, all electric and all U.S. auto manufactured. First, up to 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike, then up to $7,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, personal use, a little bit more for business use, and also a truck for business use. In a second, we'll go to the second and third cluster checks, but first, the big surprise, $25,000 checks. Now, let's go over what this is. Sharon Brown, Maxine Waters, and Raphael Warnock propose an addition to the recon that would pay Americans $25,000 up front on the front hand, cold, hard cash to go buy a house. This is huge. And this is among the items that I show you how to get on this channel as soon as it becomes law. This eligibility criterion so far is only for first-time new home buyers. So that could be a lot of you and really incredible details. Let's go to the second cluster checks. And remember, these clusters are all for everyone. Single individuals, married couple, SSI, SSDI. Red states, blue states, married people, older people. These are all checks for you, and it's not COVID related. And this is what I do. I show you how to get this money. So if you're jumping in the live chat right now and saying, how do I get this? Don't worry, because I'll show you how to get it. And the great news is I'm going to show you how to get money today from third stimulus that's still paying out. Second cluster checks includes home repairs, more about those, and then also paid leave, paid family leave, and paid medical leave. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year under third stimulus. Let's split it in half. $800 a week if you make $35,000 a year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. Paid family leave is you're going to stay home because your son is getting married. Your daughter's pregnant. You have this medical leave. You have to stay home because your son broke his leg. Then they got other checks in the second cluster. They got child care programs checks, household tax credit checks, and then checks for seniors that are also repeated in the third cluster. I'll be getting to that in a second as well. They got more checks in the home there for weatherizing your home. Yes, free money to weatherize your home. Always definitely needed when the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, weatherize the home to keep the moderate Democrats out of the House. And whenever possible, weatherize the Senate to keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. Then they got checks in there for pre-kindergarten, totally free, and tuition-free community college to take the class called What Day of the Week Is It? It's taught by Calendar Calling. It's a totally free class and doesn't particularly have a lot of students show up because they never know what day of the week it is. That's why they have a class on it. There we go. In a second, we're going to go with the third cluster of checks. But what's going on with Congress? Congress has set a date for your recon. The vote on the recon set by Nancy Pelosi and the President of the United States will be by Halloween. Now, needless to say, every single day someone says, you said they're voting on Halloween. No, I said voting by Halloween. But what if they're in costume that night? It won't look right. Who says they're not always in costume? How do you know that's not how they really look? You just don't really know. There you go. The vote by Halloween. Now, the incredible details is that they are working on the roads and bridges, working on the recon day in, day out, day and night, all this week in subcommittee, not on the House floor and not on the Senate floor. And guess what? They're working also on this third cluster. The third cluster is deliciousness, and boy, I got a world exclusive on this one as well. The third cluster has checks in there for seniors and free internet. Boy, this is great. First, they got free school meals for all checks, cheaper prescription medication checks. Then they got checks for free farmers, checks for internet, checks for clean energy, and checks for workers and checks for Medicare. Well, the workers' checks, independent contractors and seniors, checks for dental, vision, hearing care, and lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. A world exclusive, which I'm delivering right now, is Bob Casey's office tells one viewer on this channel that they're looking to drop the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. Now, not every check is application-based in this recon. That'll pay viewers about $14,000. Some of them are instant savings, and one of them is prescription medication. Let's say you go to the pharmacist today to pay a prescription. You take a $40 bill out of your wallet to pay for the prescription. Then they slash the prices of the prescriptions. Then when you go to refill, it's only $20. Wow. Then they're going to offer free internet. Definitely need it. All you have to do is reach out to your cities, counties, and states. The federal government is going to give big fortunes of money to cities, counties, and states so that they can offer free internet to you. This is huge. That free internet is available across the board, and all you have to do is say, what's the username and password? The username is Lobster Sauce McConnell. And the password is Pelosi pumpkin sauce. There we go. Later in this video, we'll be going over more of the incredible details of this $3.5 trillion recon so far that will pay viewers about $15,000. But first, let's turn to that IRS monthly stimulus check. Wow, this is fascinating. And where are we in the whole equation? We have a recon that passed in a House subcommittee, $3.5 trillion. Not a bill. It's a package, and it's not a bill until it's introduced to the House floor. We got two opportunities to amend or change that package: House side and Senate side. House side has several steps that they can change it. First, before it becomes a bill, they can add it in there. Second, when it becomes a bill on the House floor, they can modify it before the final vote on the House. Finally, the Senate. The Senate has a 2-day vote-a-rama that goes at the very end, in which they vote on whatever's proposed and sent to the Senate from the House. They look at it, they say, you left something out. We're going to add it in there. And who does the vote-a-rama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines when things are called for a vote during the vote-a-rama? Chuck Schumer. And who says what goes for a vote first before something else in the Senate during the vote-a-rama? Chuck Schumer. And who said that he's inserting a monthly stimulus check provision? Chuck Schumer. After one viewer advocated for it and got the confirmation, she was in the noontime show today. Debbie Applegate. She was back again. And yes, this is deliciousness. Why is this big? Because you want protections on both the front and the back side. So we also have Donnie's wife that reached out to Schumer's office the week before, and Schumer's office saying yes, putting a monthly IRS stimulus check in there as well. The advocacy of this channel has been felt now by Bernie Sanders' office. A top aide to Bernie Sanders' office reached out to one of the viewers of this channel last week, following up their conversation the week before, and the top aide thanked viewers of this channel for advocating for that inclusion of that monthly stimulus check. Now understand, this is not a secretary, this is not a staffer, this is not someone you just randomly get on the phone. This is someone that is a top aide in the DC office. The viewer writes, the aide said that through yesterday, they had received 1 million calls from the viewers of the Purple Power advocacy. And the advocacy is making waves to the halls of Congress. It's the first time that many elected officials and their staff have truly heard from the American people. And they have not only have heavy hearts, but a renewed sense of urgency to help out so many and to keep their good work. Our advocacy has been so strong, so heartfelt, and so polite, and not just for ourselves, but also for the other communities. Wow. In a second, we're going to go over what this advocacy means and what this advocacy impacts. I've been seeing some great questions on the channel all throughout the day. Yeah, we got a $3.5 trillion recon with 3 clusters so far. It has potentially at least an average of $15,000 in that recon. Under third stimulus, I told you I can get you $15,000 on the third stimulus recon. I was wrong. I've gotten viewers an average of $40,000. If you haven't gotten that money, stay for the final 15 minutes of the video. It's coming up in a second. As I look at the third stimulus recon, so far it looks like I can get you about $15,000, but it may be more. And that is before they get that $25,000 of home purchase money in there, and before they get an IRS stimulus check in there as well. Yes, a lot of money. And that is why information controls. Do not be tracking checks, cashing checks. And in this recording, I'm going to show you how to get lots of checks to this week, even today. Coming up in the second half of this video, we'll be going over fifth stimulus with that new COLA announcement for your benefits check in just the next few weeks. We have the latest details on fifth stimulus, the big money from third stimulus, the student loan debt forgiveness surprise that no one saw coming, and we have the big details as legislators are advocating for items to go into the recon and also advocating to protect things that are already in there. All those dramatics and more are coming up in the second half of this video. We got a lot tonight and a lot of breaking news. Stay with me as this big afternoon's LALATE broadcast continues in just about 60 seconds. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. If you need help with rent, utilities, food, or internet, here's a little bit about the community page that explains how to get that money for you. And with that, the rent and utilities and food and internet is definitely needed. What's important to know is that the money is still being paid across the board and the money is still going out. Here's a little bit about that money, if I can find the graphic, because I can't at the moment. Maybe we'll just wing it. Maybe we'll just wing it, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now, direct from Santa Monica, as the excitement unfolds as we go into a big evenings of Evenings LA. $3.5 trillion recon will pay viewers this channel upwards of $15,000, but the push is underway to add more money in there as well. A $25,000 check to go buy a new house. Wow, that's getting delicious. Those IRS monthly stimulus checks, and then student loan debt forgiveness heating up, all coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be turning back to third stimulus and why third stimulus has a lot of money coming to you right now. And then what's going off COLA? A big surprise that no one saw. Meantime, how are they going to make modifications to the recon and keep the programs in there? I'll explain the latest details and more. We got a big evenings with a lot of breaking news, and it all starts right now. And this is Evenings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut back, boy, to the exciting details of what was unfolding before the commercial break. Sanders' office is overwhelmed by your advocacy, and your advocacy has now been talked about in the halls of Congress. They say that they don't usually see advocacy like this, and they've never seen it in this format before. This advocacy is resonating in the halls of Congress because you are advocating for something at a time in which, really, who else is advocating? No one. What you're advocating against is basically lobbyists. Let's go over the details of what's unfolding. A new report released over the weekend reveals that you're basically competing against lobbyists. Lobbyists are trying to get things into the recon and protect what's ever in the recon that they put in there in the first place. A new report from Lisa Rice, who's president and CEO of the National Housing Alliance, says we have all these coalitions of industry groups who are beating down the door of the White House to make sure the housing provisions stay in the recon and other provisions of the recon. This is after some people have provisions in the recon, some don't, and everyone's pushing to get it in there. And that's what advocacy gets you. Let's go over why advocacy works and why advocacy has been the focus of this channel over the last weeks. When you look at advocacy, it was 8 weeks ago, I said pick up the phone and advocate. Call and advocate for the inclusion of whatever money you think you should have. And W.R. Halts heard me. He picked up the phone and advocated. At the time, no one else picked up the phone. But WR did, and boy, did he do it well. He picked up the phone and called Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, advocate for the inclusion of that stimulus check. And Coons' office said yes. 4 stimulus check is going in there, monthly stimulus check. Then, 3 weeks ago, I started to deliver a series of exclusives, which are important to understand in this recon. Why? Because broadcast media is not covering the recon. A series of new articles out today says Joe Biden's poll ratings are plummeting because no one knows what's in this recon. That's why people always say to me, why are you the only one mentioning this? Because broadcast media is not covering it, and now Biden's poll ratings are plummeting because no one knows what's in the recon. Democratic strategist Simon Rosenberg and another person named Longwell talk about this in a new series of reports out today. The president's decline is alarming. It's serious. And Longwell says people don't know what's in there. 3 weeks ago, I said, first, the House subcommittee would write the legislation. They did. Sheila Jackson, the lead author. She's the number 2 in the progressive wing. Picked up she was the lead author. Number 2, I told you the House subcommittee would vote first. They did. And then I told you Bernie Sanders is important to the equation. He was. He's the guy that got the $3.5 trillion price tag, and he is the leader of the Senate Budget Committee. He said at the time, unlike prior Budget Committee chairman, I like to get out amongst the people when I'm doing a recon. I said, if you listen to those words, that's saying he wants you to advocate to him. He wants you to pick up the phone and advocate to him. And Brother Joshua heard my plea, and so did Margaret, and so did Lynn Glenn. All 3 of them picked up the phone and advocated for that inclusion of that stimulus check, and was told, yes, it's going in there. Now, let's go over what's advocacy. If you're new to this channel, let's go over what's not advocacy. And needless to say, there's every single day where I see people that are just so impressive, and then people that are so not impressive at the same time. I got to praise Janice, who's absolutely heartfelt. She is, I think, made now less about 6 to 9 phone calls to different offices. She's incredible. So let's go over what advocacy is. It's telling why you need money, why you need the particular program or the item. It involves a series of sentences, and the series of sentences tell your unique story. Everyone has a unique story. It may be medical, it may be personal, it may be business, it may be town. I need it because I just went through a divorce. I need it because I just broke my legs. I need it because I lost my business. This is what's going on with my family, my church, my neighbor, my town. Sanders' office said they have never seen advocacy like this, and this is how I train the viewers of this channel. I said, tell your individual story, because they won't know about your town, they won't know about you, but they'll certainly understand your story. And that's what they saw as incredibly heartfelt. Always telling what's unique to you, because people can remember that story. And that's what they've been logging. A million calls to this channel of incredible advocacy. Advocacy does not involve question marks. Advocacy does not involve questions. Advocacy is not Dora the Check Explorer. Dora the Check Explorer, what does she do? She just asks questions. When is the bill? Where is the check? Is there a stimulus check in there? Is it not? When is the vote? When is the day? How much is it? Who gets it? When is it going out? Where is it going out? That's just asking questions. That's just asking questions. And in a given day, sporadically here and sporadically there, there's always someone who says, I picked up the phone and I called the senator to ask, are we getting a check? I thought, you're not my viewer, are you? I hope you're not. And I hope if you called up, you said you're from another channel. Because that's not the way we talk on this channel. That you are Dora the Check Explorer if you're calling up asking for where your check is. Remember, the $3.5 trillion recon has about $14,000 of checks in there to get. I'm going to show you how to get it. If you think it's all landing in your hand by putting out that hand to look for that donut, then you found the wrong channel. This is not the Donut Guy channel. This is the channel in which we push. It's called Purple Power Push. So there we go. 3 weeks ago, Brother Joshua picked the phone and advocated, and he really did a great job. He advocated to Bernie Sanders, saying why I need it, my family needs it, my church needs it. He's a 2020 volunteer to the channel. Brother Joshua got fortunes to viewers during the middle of the pandemic. And Bernie Sanders' office said, yes, we're going to give you that monthly stimulus check. $1,000 or $1,300, 3 to 6 months, but we need to hear you advocate. Do you notice there's a but in that sentence? There's always someone who doesn't hear the second half of the sentence. Bernie said, I'm getting a check if you advocate. Do you hear the second half of the sentence? If you advocate. And boy, you heard me well 3 weeks ago, because there came Donnie. Let's see some of the private messages that were posted to this channel, private messages or comments posted to the live chat of this channel. And we're going to start with Donnie. You met his wife early in this video, but here comes Donnie. Donnie advocated, and this is what Donnie wrote. I called Bernie Sanders' office. I said, I need it. My city needs it. I need it for everything with God. And they said, yes, it's going in there. Then Hurricane Tina picked up the phone and advocated, and being told it was going in there. Caroline picked up the phone and advocated. She writes, everyone's losing their homes and what they got. And Bernie's office saying, yes, it's going in there. And Yaya picking up the phone and advocating and being told, yes, it's going to go in there. It's important to understand that advocacy involves telling your story to as many places and persons as you can. Not one, but as many as you can. And that's where you learn from Janice, who's done all those incredible advocacies for you. And here's Will. He made 3 phone calls in one day. I called Bernie, I called Chuck, I called Liz, and I explained my situation, he writes, and how a stimulus check would help. And all 3 of them said they are doing it. Liz is saying $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Here comes Lorica, who called Bob Casey's office, got him on the phone advocating, and they said yes. Monthly stimulus check. A million viewers have made the phone call to Sanders to advocate, and over thousands and thousands of viewers of this channel have been told by Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, and Casey and Wyden after they advocated that a stimulus check is going in there. Also, AOC, Omar, and Jalopal's office has said the same. And also Pelosi, that told Mark when he called up the following. Mark writes that I got Pelosi's office on the phone, and the staff told me it would be $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000, 6 to 12 months, and there you go. Negotiations near complete, said Pelosi's office to Mark in that conversation. The conversations and the messages continue to come on in, and yes, Debbie Applegate, the most recent, with a message to 3 offices, and the message revealed to her that there would be a forced stimulus check in there. That's what's important to understand. Now, let's remember that when we're looking at this recon, it's not a bill yet. And so the recon is in flux. Where do we have it? We have a $3.5 trillion recon in the subcommittee of the House, not a bill yet. So you want those senators in your back pocket. You want those senators really protecting you. Why? Because they vote last. During that 2-day vote-a-rama led by Chuck Schumer, they proposed changes to whatever greatness or whatever messiness the House members did. And the senators can clean it up or make it more deliciousness. They go last. The House members can also get it right the first time around. They go first in the voting process. There you go. Now, let's understand what you're competing against. You're competing against other lobbyists, as Rice said in that quote, that everyone's knocking down the doors of the president's office. Maxine Waters specifically talked about the situation in a press release last Friday. She said that there's $300 billion in the recon for rent aid. Yeah, that's a lot. Third stimulus only had $47 billion. She said she has heard this trying to axe or remove her $300 billion provision or reduce it. Wait a second, Maxine Waters is a progressive. The progressive said they're not removing anything or reducing anything. So let's go over all the details of why this is very important. The progressives all last week said that if something's in the recon, it's not getting reduced and it's not getting removed. They're going to make changes on the duration and the taxes. I'm going to go over how this impacts you or doesn't impact you and what this means and how it calculates starting right now. First, when we look at this $3.5 trillion recon with 3 clusters so far, at least, that'll pay you about $15,000 from this across the board. The Democratic progressives say whatever is in the recon, we are not taking out. If there's a program in there, it's staying in there, and it's not getting watered down. So if the program is like the $4,000 of elder care, staying in there, and it's not getting watered down to $200. So where do they make the changes then if they're going from a $3.5 trillion recon to something smaller? Well, this is where it gets interesting. 2 ways they can do it. Duration of the programs and then, or the taxes. Let's go to the first one. Duration is very funny because ironically, I was the one who said they can do it. And then 2 days later, Jalopal said the same thing. How did I know this? Well, it came from Bernie. Bernie said this in July. Bernie Sanders went into the negotiations for the recon before there was even a recon, saying, I want to do one. Oh, you want to do a recon, Bernie? How big a recon you want? I want $7 trillion. Never going to do that, Bernie. Sorry, come up with something smaller. Okay, I'll cut the duration and we'll do $3.5 trillion. Done, deal. Now, let me show you what involved there and what evolves going forward. I'm going to use some numbers as an example. This is not the actual numbers that involved the situation, but I'm using them sort of broadly so you understand how it works. Let's say Bernie went to negotiations for $7 trillion, asking for 20-year programs. I want $4,000 of elder care, and I want it to run as a 20-year program. So every year that you are eligible, you get it for $4,000. And if you are eligible for 20 years, you get it for 20 years. There you go. And then they said, no, we're not doing $7 trillion. Okay, we'll run the program for 10 years instead. Well, that brought the price tag from $7 trillion to $3.5 trillion, but still kept the elder program in there and still at 100% of $4,000 a year. There you go. That's how you get from $7 trillion to $3.5 trillion. Well, guess what? They can do that again. They can take $3.5 trillion and take all the programs and split the duration of time in half again, for example. And that, for example, if everything is 10-year programs, would be 5-year programs. And the package, yep, you're about to say what I'm about to say, from 3.5 to 1.7. There you go. And suddenly, whammo, you're at the price point that the moderate Democrats would agree to. Absolutely, 1.7. They'll agree to in 10 seconds. You're done. Fascinating. Now let's turn to the other item, which is the taxes. The taxes on the backside. They're modifying 2 items potentially for taxes, but they're worried about this one. They're using corporate taxes and they're using wealth taxes to pay for the recon. Now, if they do it a little bit less, they're worried that if they do it too little to reduce the recon, then suddenly they're going to leave the loopholes, the tax loopholes, still open. There you go, across the board. But here is what you need to know as we go into a big evening, is that you have a $3.5 trillion recon that'll pay viewers this channel about $15,000. Mostly application-based, but not entirely application-based, like the prescription medication, instant savings to your wallet, the free internet, almost basically no work at all to get it. And then there's pushes and a way to get items added in there, like the $25,000 to go buy a house, and like the monthly IRS stimulus checks. Then there are people trying to take things out, like Maxine Waters worried about losing her $300 billion for rent. And then there's lobbyist groups trying to put things in there. Very much in flux. So what is Congress doing? Congress is working on this legislation right now, and that's why your advocacy is important. They're drafting all these changes in these final days before we get to the finish line. Now, let's turn to student loan debt forgiveness. Big surprise. Where did that come from? Student loan debt forgiveness got a big surprise a few weeks earlier when the president said he would forgive student loan debt if you became disabled. Now the president is forgiving student loan debt if you went into 2 types of jobs after college for at least 10 years. 1, nonprofit for more than 10 years. Or 2, working for a government agency like city, county, state, or the federal government for at least 10 years. Whammo, all your debts are wiped out by the federal government. Wow. Now the president also says he will wipe out up to $10,000 of student loan debts on top of that. Boy, but the Democrats are still pushing to get $50,000. COLA, big surprise. No one saw this one coming. Your benefits are going up in just a few weeks. Yes. Social Security Administration says that the new COLA numbers have been released, and it's deliciousness. If this number sounds familiar, it should, because it's a number used on this channel all this summer. 5%. Yep. I told you that the inflation rate may be heading to 5% by about December. Well, now they said actually it's a little bit higher already, and that's why your COLA is going up a lot. And so your benefits will be going up an average of about 5% starting in just a few weeks. Let's compare that now to fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up in a few weeks, and it goes into legislation, which they're hoping to vote on by about December. First, they're going to raise everyone's benefits up a lifetime. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and SSA. Then they're going to remove the benchmark. The benchmark currently is COLA. And what will be the new benchmark? Inflation. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because no one really would have thought COLA would have gotten you a 5% this year. But no one would have thought when I said 5% inflation in December that my number at that time in the summer, higher than Wall Street, is now undervaluing how high it's going to go. At the time in the summer, I was saying 5%. Wall Street's saying 2%. Now everyone's looking at saying maybe not be 5%, maybe be 8%. So it could be going even higher than what I'm saying. First, your benefits are raised up. Then they'll apply the new benchmark. And the benchmark is inflation. If it's 5%, you go up another 5%, not just next year, but lifetime. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. They'll remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you'll be able to have some money. No, this is Royals Blue for Canute. No, it's not. It's just blue. You'll be able to have some blue in your hand, and also some stimulus checks. They're going to move the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits, and the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest like Rob and Sandy. And there you go. Meantime, let's turn to the big exciting details that no one saw coming, which is third stimulus. It was back in January when I said when the third stimulus package passed that don't focus on a $1,400 stimulus check. I can get you $15,000 from the third stimulus recon. I was wrong. I got the average viewer $40,000 from this recon, from the third stimulus recon. As I look at the fourth stimulus recon being worked on right now and covered in this video, it looks like I can get average viewer about $15,000 just to start before we get these other items added in there. So yeah, this is what we do on this channel, and this is why you found this channel. I go over how to get these sums of money across the board. Get that pen and paper ready when you get some money from third stimulus, because guess what? It's still there, and you can get more of it if you got some more money before. You get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, clothing, appliances, food, and more. It's all starting right now. First, we're going to get some rent. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to 6 places. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. Next, listen to the keywords I say in this video. And then third, get ready for those nonprofits. All right, you're ready. You're going to reach out to the following 6 places. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. State hall, and state housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage utility assistance also because of COVID. And the rent, here you go. Viewers are now going from about $20,000 all the way up to $40,000. It was a month ago, Nisi, all the way to Elizabeth, all Purple Hawks. We're getting $20,000 to $27,000. Now viewers are getting $40,000 for rent. Next, I want you to get utilities. If you have 3 utility companies, if you got 5, you got 10, reach out to all of them. And the utility numbers have grown 300%. Mark's brother-in-law getting $15,000 for utilities a few days ago because of this channel. Then we talk about Snap. Boy, the numbers on Snap have increased a lot. Mark's brother-in-law getting $26,000 of Snap. What is Snap? Snap is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And guess what? Everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically starting this month. Next, get combo items. Get as many different items, and you can get the same item from 2 different places so long as it does not conflict. Here's Mark at $50,000. Here's Lorraine at $110,000. She got more since that graphic. But guess what? Next is the nonprofits, and boy, are they doing great stuff across the board. Let's go over those nonprofits right now, and I'm going to show you the 5 nonprofits. First, it's important to remember that the nonprofits pay for the same items as third stimulus generally does, but with different eligibility. So if you have an eligibility problem, reach out to the nonprofits. Here they are: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They're featured in the newsletter from members nightly. What's also important to understand is that the nonprofits pay for items that are never covered in these stimulus packages. And what are some of those strange and unusual items? First, sometimes clothing. Sometimes homeless people in the shelters. And then sometimes small appliances. Viewers have gotten refrigerators, furnaces, and small portable heaters from the nonprofits covered on this channel. Wow. Also reach out to Salvation Army because they start doing holiday gifts in the month of October. Don't wait till December because they do it now. Here again are those 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Next, the unemployment benefits. Wow. Coming back from your state due to overpayment of computer error. Yes, average payment is anywhere from about $1,000 to $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state to get that money. And then the refund check from your IRS. If you paid taxes on the 2020 unemployment benefits, you're getting back that refund check. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. If you got any sums of money from this channel, post it in the live chat right now, because when you do, you inspire other people. Let's go back over everything you need to know starting right now. Well, first, I want you to become a member. The link is under the video. By becoming a member, you get that newsletter that comes out nightly, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, approximately Monday through Friday. It's sent out via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which is totally free to sign up for underneath this video. It has all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. Johnny and 3 other people started 1 week a few weeks ago with $0 gotten from this channel. By the middle of the week, they all 3 had gotten $40,000. By the weekend, Johnny got 7 items approved and $80,000. Johnny's not alone. Mark $50,000, Lorraine $110,000, Mark's friends $110,000, Johnny's friends $100,000. People getting big sums of money from this channel. That should be you. I want you to get all this big money on the first, second, and third stimulus. Next, I want you to get ready for all this big money on the fourth stimulus. And finally, make a couple promises to yourself. 1, I want you to get this money for rent and utilities and food and all these items as far into 2022 as possible. A lot of people who got money before on this channel are coming back in to go get more money and bring them all into 2022. Number 2, lean on the nonprofits now if you're eligible. Don't wait. Fast turnaround times are abound at the moment. St. Vincent de Paul and United Way viewers are reporting great turnaround times for them on rent. But as soon as it gets cold, things start to slow down. They get a lot of calls, and do not wait. Finally, let's go over what you should anticipate as the week unfolds across the board. We have a recon that has at least 3 clusters in there. And as you see with Maxine Waters, her $300 billion of rent, there's certainly a lot more items that are going to go in there that I don't even know about that are not even covered in those clusters. This miraculously are added in there. Generally, it's going to pay viewers this channel on average about $15,000. Yes, for you, if you're on SSI or SSDI, yes, this is money for you. I'm going to show you how to get all these sums of money under this. Meantime, they're protecting everything that's in there, and they're also pushing to add stuff in there, like those IRS stimulus checks, and also that $25,000 to purchase a new car. A new house. Let's try it again. A new house, a new bike for what bike is $25,000? Well, maybe there is a bike for a new house for with $25,000. It's important to understand that you do not want to treat this any differently than third stimulus. When third stimulus was being worked up, I said, listen, stay tuned to this channel, learn everything that's in this recon. Learn everything that's in this recon, because when it becomes law, you want to pounce as a purple hawk. That was what became the expression. Pounce as a purple hawk and get all the sums of money. A lot of you did. Most of you did. As soon as it became law, you stayed around with third stimulus and you pounced and you learned from the recordings how to get those sums of money. Other people didn't pounce. They cashed the $1,400 third stimulus check. They ran for the hills. And then a month later, they came back and said, I need another stimulus check. I said, well, there's money on the third stimulus. Why didn't you get the other money, the other programs? Really? So we've gone through this before. Now is the time to learn about all these programs. Take notes and say, which of these do you in your mind think you probably qualify for? So get ready for each of them. These items are not duplicative as well from third stimulus. So if it sounds like you got something like this from third stimulus, you can get more from it from fourth stimulus. A lot of details coming up. And meantime, coming up next is our hit show, Evening's Countdown. This video will automatically take you there at 6 o'clock. Then Stream Stimulus at 7 o'clock. Sirloin at 8 o'clock, and then our late night shows start at 9, 10, and 11:30. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and become a member so you get that newsletter that comes out Monday through Friday. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening. Always stay positive, and always stay motivated, and stay smiling, and stay a fat life.